Okay, so if you're watching this video, it probably means that you are interested in or looking to start some kind of online business, online agency. Maybe you've already even started one. And this video here is going to tell you about what can actually happen if you do go all in on this. You actually commit to this thing that you're thinking about or currently working on, and you give 100% effort to it. Now, this is something that I did like fully go all in on about 2 years ago. And I've probably been working on my business, at least in the business world, maybe for like maybe 3.5 years, something like that. But until 2 years ago, this is when I fully committed myself. And I basically went from zero to making, anywhere between ten to $25,000 in a single month within the space of 2 years. And I wouldn't have got to that point if I didn't just fully commit myself. If I didn't do things that no one else wanted to do, if I didn't work weekends virtually every single weekend, if I didn't really take any time off during that period, if I didn't, stop speaking to people that were bringing me down and start speaking to people that didn't really want me to succeed. But the reality is I went from a situation where I was living in an area in the UK, which is probably not the most expensive place in the world. I was basically still living in my old parents' house, and I was making, okay money at my old job, but not really anything special. And I was doing like pretty well for myself, like compared to some people that I went to university with and things like that. But the reality is now that I currently live in the most expensive place in Europe. I have a property, an apartment that I rent out, which is literally more money than it was basically what I was earning like 2 years ago. And I am at the point now, and this is not to basically brag or anything, but I'm at the point now where I've sort of hit that like all my essentials are covered. And now I'm basically just playing the game to get like extra things in life, right? Like I'm never ever going to be hungry. I'm never ever going to be in a situation where I can't pay rent. I'm never going to be in a situation where, I can look at something which is like, decently priced and I can't afford it. The only thing that I'm playing for now is to just have like a really big house when, I eventually want to buy somewhere, and maybe just have some like fancy cars and stuff like that, right? And this is the kind of the game that I'm playing out. Obviously, there's way more to this, right? Obviously, you don't just want to do this for materialistic reasons. But that's what a lot of people focus on initially, because that's what is the driving force, right? You want to have something which you can't have now. But eventually, when you get there, obviously things change and you just want to build a big business and you want to impact people's lives and you want to, do something that's pretty impressive, right? For whatever reason that might be, not just to buy materialistic things. But if you do go all in, like, there is no doubt that you'll get to this point. I'm not someone who is like freakishly intelligent. I did pretty well at school, but I wasn't someone who was like an absolute genius or anything like that. I wasn't someone who was overly disciplined or, had any sort of special traits that was like, where I would just sort of stumble into things, and if I did okay, or if I just apply myself a little bit, then I would actually go in and do things. No, like I had to seriously put away every hour of my waking life for at least 18 months, maybe 2 years. So I don't do anywhere near as much hours as I used to be honest with you. I still work an awful lot. But about 18 months ago was when I was literally working like 7 days a week for, like 12 hours a day, right? There was a time when I rented out an office in the old city that I lived in, and I recorded. I basically, because I knew that I was on like a crazy streak. I recorded that I went to that office for like 26 days in a row, Sundays, Saturdays included, and I was basically just working. And this isn't like an office where there's like a team of people and it's like a busy environment and it's nice and social. Like, no, I was in a box room without a window, and it was an awful place to be. And I put myself through it because I knew that it would actually lead to the things that I want in life. And I knew that if I go through that period of this 2 years period, and then I'll come out on the other end of it, and I will probably never have to do that again if I don't want to, simply because now I'm in a position where I have the skills, I have the knowledge, I have the business to be able to make money for the rest of my life, and I want to be in a position where I have enough assets in place so that I can basically make more in interest than I can on actually, than I can actually spend. Obviously at that point I'll be, quote, financially free, right? But that's the game that I'm playing now. But I have no doubt that that's coming, and I have no doubt with the business that I have now and the cash that I'm making that I will be a millionaire. And it's inevitable now. Unless I get hit by a bus this afternoon, I'm gonna do it, right? And it's a crazy position to be in, and it's a frightening position to be in, simply because, only 2 years ago I didn't think that this was even possible. Well, maybe I did think it was possible, but I just thought that, there was the chance of it happening was just so incredibly small, whereas now it's basically a certainty, like it is gonna happen as long as I just keep doing what I'm doing. But if you're in a position now where, maybe you don't make any money, maybe you don't have any clients, maybe you've never done a sales call before in your life, and you think like, man, that's going to be the most frightening thing ever. You can do it. Like, you really can. It is just a case about putting yourself out there and actually going and doing it. And I think so many people have these I guess they are beliefs in their life where, you know, they just instantly believe something like, I can't do sales, or I can't do this, or I can't start a business. And that just instantly stops them from doing whatever it is that they want to do, right? Whether it's the business, whether it's hitting a fitness goal, whether it's a sports goal, you know, whatever it may be, right? And as long as you just refuse to let those thoughts come into your mind, and you just do what you know that you should do, you do your outreach, you do your sales calls, you do your research on your service delivery, and that's basically it. You know, as long as you know how to get people on the phone, as long as you know how to sell to them, and as long as you know how to deliver a service, like, you will be a millionaire. Like, it really is that simple. Obviously, there's different things that come into it, like accounting, and there's different things like operations and hiring and team management and stuff like that. But the basics of it is, for you to make a 7-figure business, to make $1 million in a year, you just need to be able to sell and then deliver on that service in some capacity. And it doesn't even need to be a perfect service. You can deliver something which is, you know, not perfect, but decent, and you will still get to that point. Now, is it worth making sure that your service is absolutely perfect? Of course it is. Is it worth making sure that you hire the right people and you have the right processes in place so that you're not super stressed and you can actually, you know, outsource a lot of stuff? Of course it is, right? But in order to get to the position that you probably are looking to be in now, which might be a millionaire, which might be 10K a month, which might be, you know, have a laptop lifestyle or something like that, you only need like 2 or 3 skills. You only need to know a few things. And these things are not easy to learn. They're simple, but they're not easy to learn. But if you put yourself in a position where you just commit to yourself now, at the end of this video, you just say to yourself, look, this video is going to finish, and for the next 24 months, I'm going to commit myself to this business, to this task, and I'm going to stop maybe watching Netflix. I'm going to stop going on social media for pointless reasons. I'm going to stop watching that stupid sports league that I watched that just has no benefit on my life. I'm going to stop speaking to those people who tell me to not start a business and basically, you know, make it seem like it's almost strange or weird to start a business, or they just don't contribute to my life in any way. 2 years from now, which is literally no time at all, like 2026 is literally, it might as well be tomorrow, you're going to be in a position where that person that you are today, the person that you are right now, is almost unrecognizable. And so, like, if I spoke to myself in 2022, and 2022 is just not even that long ago, like, it really isn't. Like, if I think about it now, it's such a short time period in my life, that from 2022 to 2024. But if I spoke to that person today, they would be unrecognizable to me. We would not have the same thought patterns. We would not, you know, think anywhere near the same. We would disagree about so much stuff. There'd be so many different things with different behaviors, different, you know, just so much stuff that would be different. Like, it's almost like a freakishly different person. And we might look the same and obviously have like the same sort of, you know, biological makeup, but in terms of what we're actually capable of, is just night and day. And you can be in a position where you can achieve something similar. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the be all and end all and I've done it all right and I've achieved my goals and, you know, I'm this and I'm the perfect person and everyone should be like me, right? But what I have done over the last 2 years, and I'm definitely not finished with what I'm doing. And I know you shouldn't really be like overly like proud of yourself, but I am really like, if 2 years ago me saw me now, then like it would be just like a crazy experience, right? It would be something which I would think like it's not even possible. And one quote that always sticks out into my mind is the idea that true hell would be you bumping into the person that you could have become. Like, imagine if me from 2022 just carried on the way that I was going, you know, maybe just had like a normal 9-to-5 job, didn't really do a whole lot in my life, you know, just look forward to like the summer and festivals and, you know, just weekends away and things like that. Bumped into the person now who, you know, lives in a much better city, who has like a much better apartment, who has, you know, his own things going from his life, is much more in control of his life, is independent, who is now guaranteed to be the person who's going to be able to afford, you know, big houses and nice cars and provide for his family and all that kind of stuff. It'd be so strange. It'd be so strange. I would almost look at that person as someone who's, I think me, 2022, would probably look at that person with some kind of like jealousy maybe, or some kind of envy. But that's the path that I could have gone on, and that's the path that you could go on as well if you don't actually commit to yourself, if you don't actually make sure that you go all in on this thing, whatever it is you're focusing on. And the way that I saw it as well, and I think the way that a lot of people will see it, is it's actually more difficult, and it actually makes more sense to take the risk and start the business and leave your job, or, you know, drop out of university, whatever it is you're looking at doing, simply because if you don't, and you do succeed, right, in terms of your university career or your you know, your normal career or whatever it may be, and you start to make maybe $80,000, $90,000 a year, something like that. If you do succeed with that, and you do get to that point and you have like a decent house, you know, stuff like that, you probably have failed, even though you've, you know, quote, succeeded, right? Because what you truly want is not that. what you truly want as a business. You want the freedom, you want the money to be able to do whatever you want. You want to be able to go away, 4 or 5 times a year. You want to be able to be a millionaire, right? To have a nice car, to have multiple houses and all these kind of things. And I know we're focusing on like materialistic stuff here. You could definitely be in that position. But if you haven't actually tried to do that and you've just gone down the other path, then you've already failed instantly. It doesn't matter what, if that career goes well, if you get a good university degree or whatever. And the thing is, if you truly want that, if you truly want to have a university degree and have a normal job and just have a 9 to 5, then that's completely cool, right? But this video is made for people that don't want that. This video is made for people who want that little bit more. And if you really think about it, you don't really have a choice. It is far, far more risky to go down the path of the 9 to 5, to go down the path of just living a normal life, right? And like I said, it's completely cool to do that. Like it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. But for people who actually deep down don't want that, who want a little bit more, who want to be, different or better, then the risk is in not actually changing. The risk is in not going for it. And there are many times when I think about things I might like regret in life, right? Where if you look back on certain times in your life and you think, I regret doing now, or I regret this, or I regret that, almost every single time you don't actually regret doing things, but you regret not doing things. And so people talk about this, when they're on their deathbed and they're dying, and they say like, oh, I don't regret things I did do, I regret the things I didn't do. And this quote is true because this is probably how you feel right now about certain things. Like, for example, when I was at university, I probably could have done a lot more of my time. I could have probably focused on business. I could have got more involved, people that were interested in business at the time, but I didn't. I just went out and I drank and I made friends and I just did like stupid stuff, right? And I regret doing that because I could have done something else. That's where the regrets that I have. But for example, I used to try drop shipping, right? And I wasted a bit of money on it and it didn't really work out. I don't regret trying it. What I do regret is not actually going all in on it. What I do regret is not actually doing enough research and focusing on it. And I think a lot of people will feel the same as well. You might be able to think of something in your life right now where you have those initial regrets where you didn't actually do something, but you don't have many regrets of actually doing something. Maybe you do initially, like a straight away after it happens, like I shouldn't have done that. But then when the dust settles and stuff, you think like, oh, it doesn't really matter. But what you do have really long-term regrets over is the things that you should have done and you didn't. And so, like I said, this video is made for anyone who isn't going all in yet, people who aren't doing enough when they should do. Now, I'm sure that I could do more. I'm sure that I could work an extra hour a day or something like that, right? But to get to the position that I am now, the business that I have, the social media following that I have, which is, even though it's pretty small, it's growing and it's getting bigger every day. If you aren't in that position yet, if you aren't in that thing where you have sort of like a base level of a following, a base level of an income, a base level of a client base, and a skill base, and knowledge base, then you need to do everything that you can to get to that point. And this means going all in. This means going into complete, almost like the darkest of the monk modes that you can imagine. And once you do get to that point and you are in it and you come out on the lights, through the lights on the other end of the tunnel, then things will make a lot of sense and you'll be in a position where you don't even ever have to do that again if you don't want to, because you're now in a position where you are pretty much secure, right? Physically, emotionally, mentally, you have the things that you can afford in life, which is, the basics that you need. And then at this point, you're just playing for fun. You're just playing for, a little bit of pride, or just because you want to, rather than the fact because you need to, and you actually want to, escape whatever position that you're in right now. And so, yeah, I just wanted to make this one really just for anyone that's out there, because I had sort of a lot of videos like this, maybe, 2-3 years ago, and watching people on YouTube that talked about this kind of stuff really did change the path that I was on. And I'm in a position now where I'm very, very grateful that I saw those videos and those people made those videos. And so if I can do that for just one person, then that's pretty cool, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Cheers.